Good evening, and welcome to the Northern Colorado Amateur Radio Club Monday Tech Net. This is Kilo Alpha 6 Echo Tango Echo. My name is Jim, located in Loveland, Colorado. I'll be net control for this evening's Tech Net. Looking for check-ins. Anyone wanting to check in to tonight's Tech Net, please call now.
Whiskey 2, Mike, India, Charlie, Mark in Loveland.
Good evening, Mark. How are you doing this evening?
Oh, I managed to catch a squirrel on Saturday, so my terrible depression has been lifted. But ever since then, all they've been doing is tripping the levers on my live traps and not venturing inside, so I'm becoming depressed again.
Yeah, that's never good when you can't catch them. Hopefully that turns around for you again here soon.
At least so far today, they're out there.
Yeah, I should grab a couple traps for my house. We've had quite a few venturing into our front yard this past couple months. But thank you for checking in. Anyone else wanting to check into tonight's TechNet, please call now. This is KA6ETE, net control for this evening's TechNet, looking for check-ins. Anyone wanting to check in to tonight's TechNet, please call now.
This is Kilo Delta Zero, Tango Yankee Uniform, Joe in Loveland.
Evening, Joe. How are you doing this evening?
Absolutely marvelous. How are you?
Doing good. Wishing the weather would cool back off. A couple days where it was mid-80s were nice. Now it's back to the mid-90s.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is summer. I guess we have to look at it that way for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Just waiting for fall to get here. And it's my favorite time of year. But thank you for checking in. This is KA6ETE, looking for check-ins. Anyone wanting to check in to tonight's TechNet, please call now.
Kilo Charlie 0, Quebec, Oscar Kilo, Marty Mobile.
Evening, Marty. How are you doing this evening? You on the road again?
Yep, chasing that neon rainbow. Yeah, I'm on 925 at the Crossroads construction zone, and we are creeping northbound. But, oh well. It'll be nice when it's done.
Yeah, definitely. As long as it doesn't take them as long as it did with North College area. But thank you for checking in. Anyone else wanting to check into tonight's TechNet, please call now. Kilo Alpha 6 Echo Tango Echo. Net control for this evening's NCARC TechNet. Looking for check-ins. Anyone wanting to check into tonight's TechNet, please call now.
Alpha Echo 0, Charlie Foxtrot, Ben, we're calling.
Evening, Ben. How are you doing today?
Same old, just hanging in there.
That's all we can do is hang in there and keep going day to day. Thank you for checking in. Anyone else wanting to check into tonight's TechNet, please call now.
Says Whiskey 0, Alpha Sierra Papa. Terry in Berthoud.
Evening, Terry. How are you doing today?
I'd call this a typical Monday. It's nice that the workday's over.
Yeah, but that's always the best part of any day, especially Mondays.
Roger that for sure.
Thank you for checking in. This is Kilo Alpha 6 Echo Tango Echo. Net control for this evening's TechNet. Looking for check-ins. Anyone wanting to check into tonight's TechNet, please call now. One last time, this is Kilo Alpha 6 Echo Tango Echo, net control for this evening's NCARC TechNet. Looking for check-ins. Anyone wanting to check into tonight's TechNet, please call now. I hear nothing. We'll move on. Short list and looking like it might be a short net this evening. Start off. Anyone have any questions or comments for the net?
Well, I'll go ahead and start this off, Jim. KC0KOK, there's been a lot of talk about solar chargers to keep batteries charged on RVs, and You read a lot, and people say this, and people say that, and blah, 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 blah. Is anybody out there? Of course, I guess not much of a big nap. Maybe this will draw some in. Has anybody got a good grip on how large of a solar system do you need to keep an RV battery charged during the day? And then, I have LED lights for the lighting, and I guess there's a stereo that stays on all the time. I mean, it doesn't stay on, like it's not playing, but it's on. It has a backlight, I think, if I remember right. But anyway, and I will be going to 2 6-volt batteries, whether they're wet or AGM's not sure, but that's the question. What size solar panel or solar system does a guy need to keep batteries topped off and, I guess, nominal use during the night?
That's a good question, and one that I've been doing some testing on. I know Mark has done quite a bit of testing as well. You want to start off with that, Mark? W2MIC?
W2MIC? Sure. Well, Marty, to start with, if you have not seen my presentation on YouTube about just this subject, please do. Just search for my call sign and you'll find my presentation to the Northern Colorado Amateur Radio Club some months back. Second general answer is it depends. And what it depends on is how much load do you draw and how much load do you plan to draw, both during the day while the solar panels are active and, well, I'm going to call it at night, but while the solar panels are not active. Generally speaking, the recommended size for an RV for a starter kit is 4 100-watt panels and at least 2 100-amp-hour batteries, where we need to be careful when we're talking about lead-acid batteries, either flooded lead-acid batteries, the kind you can't charge indoor or shouldn't, or sealed lead-acid batteries, like AGM batteries. Those you can draw only 50%, half of their rated capacity. So if you get a, quote, 100-amp-hour battery, unquote, you could draw 50 ampere hours out of it. I'll drop and go back up here. If you get a lithium iron phosphate battery, you can draw pretty much all of it, at least 90%. And I will be more than happy to send you some really good YouTube channels and some websites on how to, and books on how to size and how big it is. The issues are how much current are you going to pull DC and how much current are you going to pull AC? Do you have, for example, an air conditioner you wish to run off of solar, and do you have a microwave, and do you have an electric oven, and do you have a fridge?
Now, all I would be doing is I'll have a generator for the air conditioner, microwave, toaster oven, coffee pot, all that stuff. When all that stuff goes, I'll run a generator. Solar system be way too much money by the time you buy the panels, get an inverter, blah blah blah. This is just for maybe a couple hours of watching TV at night, 12-volt TV, or some lights during the evening. You know, if the weather is nasty and you can't sit out around your either campfire or fire pit. We'll just say a fire pit, whether it's wood or gas. And maybe, I don't know, I still like the old school Coleman lantern at night instead of LED lights. Just more for ambiance, so nothing major, just for lights at night, just to keep them topped off. and I don't know what the draw is. I'll have to look, and I'll have to put a meter on and see what draw is without, with no lights turned on, what kind of a draw there is.
That's the big question, is how much draw. If you have meters, good. If you don't, I have a clamp on ampere meter I would be more than happy to lend you for just this purpose. You may be able to get away with a 200 watt system, but I think you should plan on 400. And I will, as I say, send you some good YouTube channels and pointers to a book that will help you specifically size based on what your current draw measurements are.
Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of curious. Reason I'm thinking about this, a buddy of mine just traded his trader for a different one, and the new one has a residential type refrigerator, runs on 110 only. The goofiest thing I've ever seen, but I mean, this thing's made for being in a park. But it also has a built-in 200 watt solar panel array, 2 6-volt batteries, and an inverter to run that refrigerator. And with what you're saying, I don't think he's going to run his refrigerator very long without it being plugged in.
I'll send you a video with some analysis on that as well. This is not an uncommon thing, because people have figured out that between the cost of an RV refrigerator, typically one that runs on either 12 volts DC or 117 AC or propane, versus the cost of a residential refrigerator, which is way less, like a third, it is in fact more cost effective to build out the solar system and the batteries and an end-to-end inverter and run the domestic refrigerator, which by the way are also quite a bit more efficient in terms of cooling versus energy expended. I'm actually not surprised.
Okay, well that explains it then. An RV manufacturer knows what they're doing. Amazing. Okay, well, good. I'll watch those videos, and I don't know if they're ever going to be. Well, they must know that a 200 watt system is going to keep that refrigerator running during the night and just all the time. They must. I don't know. If a 200 watt system keeps that going, then I would lead me to believe that's all I would need. But I'll watch the videos. Appreciate it, Mark.
Sure thing. Back to net.
KC0QG.
Yeah, thank you for the question, Marty, and the explanation, Mark. Like I said, I've done a little bit of testing with solar, and I've been testing the cheap 100 watt kits from Harbor Freight, which surprisingly have worked very well from my minimal experience. I actually just put a small solar panel on my mother-in-law's RV to keep batteries charged for when the campers in storage, when they go out with it, take it out, they're always plugged in or running a generator. They just wanted something that would keep both the batteries for the RV itself and the engine charged when it's sitting, not doing anything and not plugged in. But yeah, definitely, them videos will help a lot, explain a lot. But anyone else have any questions or comments for the net? Please call now.
This is K0PRB.
Evening, Phil. How are you doing this evening? And go ahead with your question.
Hey, Jim. Yeah, good to hear from you. Marty, Mark, yeah. Everything Mark said, yep, I agree with. totally. I do have practical experience, though, running using Star Drive. I have 2 sets of 200-watt solar setups with Star Drive, and a 200-watt setup with our caboose, which is a pop-up camper with a battery. Nonetheless, yeah, draw is a big thing. Draw is definitely a big thing. But we also have a Costway refrigerator that we purchased that we can set up in Star Drive or in the caboose. And it's not cheap, but it runs on 12 or 24 volts, 2.5 amps. Very, very, and it will go below 0. So you can use it as a freezer as well. Really, really nice setup. But I do have 2 100-watt panels that I had put together with an MPPT controller. I use that for the caboose, and I have 4 for Star Drive, being that it has a large capacity for batteries, a couple of them. I'm going to reset. So I have 4 panels total. I seldom have to use all 4 panels unless it's a cloudy day. I usually use 2 panels, each 100 watt, with an MPPT controller, and it depends on wire size to make sure you get the good current feed into the battery. But just with a couple of them, I get a good 5 amp feed at 18 to 20 volts with the 2 panels put together. They are not in series, they are in parallel. So they are 100 watt panels that run anywhere between 18 and 20 volts. Now the MPPT controller will take that down and use whatever it needs, 14.5 for full charge capacity, and then it'll drop to the 13.8 for a good maintenance charge as well. So I have we've been out and have run 9 days straight without ever draining those batteries. It's quite funny that even using the refrigerator, I unplugged the batteries when I was doing some rewiring out in the field, and it maintained its running on just the solar panel and the MPPT controller. It did not need the battery in circuit. That surprised the heck out of me. I figured the battery would need to be in circuit. Anyway, that's what I've done practically, and if you have any more questions, let me know. Back to that.
I want the model number of that refrigerator. I'm shopping around for something for the semi. You can just text it to me, and I just got here to Bud, so I got to get away from the radio for just a few minutes. KC0QK.
Okay, Marty, that's perfect for the semi. It's perfect. So I'll send it to you. K0PRB.
Thanks for that comment, Phil. Adding some rural life experience and real world experience to the solar panel question, the solar charger. This is KA6ET, net control for this evening's NCARC TechNet. Do we have any other questions or comments for the net? Please call now.
E0CF, comment about, not comment, but question about refrigerators.
E0CF, Ben, go ahead.
I've been, playing around with my refrigerator, and I've noticed that my house refrigerator, I guess, it's really old, and it's using like 175 watts. I forgot if that's average or just when the compressor is on. But I suppose newer ones are use a lot less power. Just wondering, how little power are they using nowadays, and Are these all Peltier or are they still phase change? This is AE0CF.
MIC.
Mark, go ahead.
Back when I was preparing for my NCARC presentation on solar for boondocking and radio, I was talking with Rhodes, who is a former full-time solar installer and nowadays is a full-time instructor of solar installers. And he made the fascinating comment that when he is getting ready to bid a system for a house, a residential house, the first question he asks the owner is, how old is your refrigerator? It turns out that new refrigerators are 3 to 5 times more efficient than older refrigerators, older being 10 years plus. The technology has advanced tremendously. And his recommendation to would-be home solar system buyers was buy the newest, best refrigerator you can now, because it's cheaper to do so than it is to build out the solar system to supply power to the older refrigerator. New refrigerators, if you go shopping carefully, and they are all energy rated so you can compare accurately, are tremendously more efficient than older generation refrigerators. Second comment, they're all phase change.
Thank you for that comment again, Mark. Did I give you an answer, Ben?
I guess I doubled. Yeah, I was just wondering about I guess for mobile use too. Probably, I guess really, at least in my situation, really hesitant in replacing the refrigerator because calculating out the amount of time and disposal cost of the old refrigerator, it's better just let it break before replacing it, at least when not using solar power. But for mobile use, I guess I'm just wondering how many of them are phase change versus how many of them are Peltier based, say, E0CF.
MIC.
Mark, go ahead.
As far as I'm aware, all of the mobile RV refrigerators on the market today are phase change. Go look at Dometic, Dometic, and they are the most popular brand. They're installed both by the factory in many different flavors of RVs, and they're all phase change. There are some Peltier refrigerators out there. They are inefficient and ineffective. They take a lot of energy and they will cool only a certain degree, like 40 degrees below ambient. They're not powerful refrigerators, so you're definitely looking at phase change.
Alrighty, that's E0CF back to net.
Hey, thank you for the question, Ben, and the reply, Mark. This is KA6ET net control for this evening's TechNet. We have any other questions or comments for the net? Please call now. Yeah, here hearing nothing, move on with the short list of people on the net this evening. Topic I had come up with for this evening was probably won't do anything. I've been seeing a lot of questions recently on a lot of Facebook groups and that for new hams. Hoping a few would be on this evening, asking about what they should run for coax in their vehicle. A lot of them are referring to the RG8X and the RG8 Mini. Pretty much the same, asking what they should run instead of that because of it being so lossy. They go through with the explanations that the losses they're seeing are per 100 foot as with all coax. So running the RG8 inside a vehicle is no big deal because you're looking at roughly 15 feet versus the 100 foot that the loss is calculated at. So the loss is nowhere near what they think it is. So I don't think that topic would be very beneficial this evening with the people that are checked in. Do we have any late check-ins or any questions in regards to types of coax to use for your mobile install or in a home? And hear nothing, we'll save that for another evening when there's more people on the net and some new people on the net that are looking at what to use. Do one last round. We have any other questions or comments for the net? Please call now.
Yeah, I do have one. This is KD0TYU.
TYU Joe, go ahead.
You know, I heard something today that kind of surprised me. I was in Denver doing a class, and there was a guy there that was a brand new ham, and although he had had a license for a while, but he told me that they're going to totally outlaw the Bofang imports as of September. Does anybody know about that?
I have heard some stuff about it. I haven't done much research into it. From my understanding, the Bofangs, the main one will be the UB5R that is capable of transmitting out of band. Will be illegal to buy or sell. The people that already have one can obviously use it as long as they use it within the confines of the laws and regulations, but they cannot be sold or bought by anyone in the United States. Anyone else hear anything else or want to add to that?
MIC.
MIC, go ahead.
Old news. Joe, yes, we discussed this about 6 months ago on TechNet. Yes, the FCC has taken action against the Baofangs and their assorted clones and has banned their import, that they being the radios that will transmit out of band.
Just curious what anybody thinks if there's going to be a black market involved in this thing.
Of course, I will be hanging on to mine, plural, because they fact, transmit on FRS, GMRS, business band, etc., etc. And for an emergency situation, it's a one radio does all things in the line of sight mode. I'm not getting rid of mine. However, I'm not using them until then.
You know, I guess I hate to be kind of a. It's kind of like Mark. I think you were there at the club meeting when this stuff was brought up years ago. I mean, a year or so ago, and things like that. And you know, if you just use it right, I guess who knows? I mean, I'm not saying we should. I mean, if you use it on 275. Who knows whether you're using a Yaesu or a Bofang or a whatever. So I guess I can't quite, I mean, maybe they can outlaw how it comes in here, but it could create an enormous black market, I think.
Oh yeah, I've run into multiple people who use the Baofeng UV5R illegally on the business band, which is about 150, 151. And with a regular VHF antenna, Baofengs will work just fine. And of course, they don't bother getting trained or getting licenses or paying the FCC's fees, etc. It was this misuse that drove the ban. I do not believe there was any particular concern on the ham bands, where people were using the radios legally on VHF and UHF, but rather the numerous complaints from business band users in the 151 range, I think it is, who were being interfered with by people illegally using the unregistered, unlicensed Baofengs for business applications.
Is there ASP with a comment? Probably not the forum to do this with, but it just, I just think it's such a non-issue for them to get so upset about if you train the person. Well, I guess, I don't know. There's always somebody that wants to cheat, I guess.
Definitely that, Joe. But ASP, Terry, go ahead with your comment.
The net W0ASP. I think one of the other driving factors is that these business radios come from U.S. manufacturers, or at least not made in the U.S., but come from U.S. companies that charge quite a bit of money for them. And these low-cost Baofengs were severely cutting into their profit margins, and I think therein you might find the impetus for the banning of their import.
That don't seem fair.
Easier.
However, is the way our government works.
Definitely. A0CF, Ben. Go ahead.
I think the main reason is that, well, these radios are just definitely not Part 90 compliant. They're just worried that you can change the frequency without, easily change the frequency. Then again, with things like chirp around, that doesn't really make sense anymore. The funny thing is that they are selling alternate versions of these radios that they basically require to use chirp. And the funny thing is that it's all basically the same. I don't know how to really explain it though, but the main difference is that if you just have the radio and no programming software, you can't. That is the requirement for Part 90, is that you just can't change the frequency other than whatever is programmed in channels. It's easier if you have back to that.
definitely. There's a lot of issues that I see, and a lot of it's a moot point with stuff that can be done with radios that are not sold with the ability to transmit out a band. I mean, I don't think there's a radio out there that you cannot do the Mars cap mod on that allows you to transmit out of band with the radio. I mean, so it's just limiting. I think it was just all the big manufacturers of the Part 90 radios and that complaining that these radios are coming in and anyone can program them, and they're free to program with software that's available online. And people that program a lot of the commercial radio, like the Motorola's and stuff like that, where you have to take them to have them programmed with what you're licensed to use for commercial bands, are complaining that they're losing money from all these cheap radios that are out there now. This is KA6ETE net control for this evening's NCARC TechNet. Have any other questions or comments for the net? Please call now. There, nothing. We'll do a round, see if any late check-ins for the net. Please call now. Yeah, hearing nothing. I'd like to thank everyone that checked into this evening's TechNet. Look forward to hearing from you next week. As everyone knows, Wednesday evening is the ClubNet on this repeater. ClubNet starts at 6:30 with early check-in starting at 6 p.m. Again, thank you everyone for checking in. This is KA6ETE, net control for this evening's NCARC TechNet 7-3. Have a good evening, and the repeater is now open for general use.
This presentation was brought to you by the Northern Colorado Amateur Radio Club. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.